Have you noticed that most people in this world are a bunch of mediocre, arrogant, stupid assholes? Speaking of assholes, let's get started with Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was the year 2072, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is 97 years old. And you may be wondering, how was she able to live this long? It was because she refused to get vaccinated from COVID-19. Sure, Marjorie Taylor Greene is an unhinged, lunatic fucking cunt, but you have to realize that even a broken clock is right twice a day. Things have never been able to get completely back to normal after COVID-19, after it became a pandemic on Friday the 13th, 2020, when stores were completely out of toilet paper, and it made me wonder, how were people able to wipe their stinky ass after they took a shit? In 2071, a new and much deadlier variant of COVID became a pandemic, and they called it COVID-69. And you may be wondering, if it became a pandemic in 2071, then why didn't they call it COVID-71? They did for a while, but the late great George Carlin once said that COVID-71 is the same as 69 with two fingers up your ass. So people started calling it COVID with two fingers up your ass. Furthermore, the very first case of COVID-69 was reported on August 16, 2069, which occurred on the 100th anniversary of the second greatest moment in American history, while Jimi Hendrix was singing Purple Haze of Woodstock, while the greatest moment in American history occurred in 1991, when the late great Gigi Allen was singing ass-licking, cunt-licking masturbation. Meanwhile, Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband is an anti-gay, homophobic crusader, and he was able to get gay marriage outlawed and gay rights overturned in many places. He said, the Bible says that being a gay, queer, homosexual goes against the teachings of Jesus. Meanwhile, Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband was a repressed, closeted homosexual who enjoyed sucking dick and enjoyed getting fucked in the ass in parks and public bathrooms. If that's not all, he enjoyed sniffing poppers whenever a man fucked him in the ass. And he had just gotten home after a man fucked him in the ass in a public park, and Marjorie Taylor Greene said, I want you to fuck me now. But he was feeling painful gastrointestinal cramps in his abdominal area. Well, he took off his clothes, and when he pulled down his underpants, she noticed that he had skid marks and shit stains on his underpants. And he said, I'm ready to stick my big little pecker inside of you, honey. When all of a sudden, he lost control of his bowels, and a bunch of diarrhea splattered all over Marjorie Taylor Greene's face. And then a bunch of blood splattered all over her face as well. And at this point, you may be wondering, what happens next? I will go into that later. This has something to do with COVID-69. This country peaked on August 16, 1969, while Jimi Hendrix was singing Purple Haze of Woodstock. And then the Stonewall riots occurred in 1969 because gay people had enough with being treated like shit, and there was a sexual freedom movement that was going on during much of the 1970s until Anita Bryant came along. And if you haven't heard of Anita Bryant, she was this extremely homophobic, hateful fucking cunt who hated gay people. Now, back in the 1970s, the gay community was radical, and they believed in the freedom to fuck. And a lot of gay men enjoyed sniffing poppers when they fucked. Those were the good old days. Then during the 1980s, the government intentionally created AIDS, which was started when they were vaccinated from hepatitis B. That led to the gay gay community getting sanitized and it turned into a bunch of PC fucking shit. Most people, most gay people used to enjoy having a dick stuck up their ass, but now most of them have a stick up their ass. But the good news is this will all up leading to the collapse of this uncivilized Western civilization. Gay pride should be about being a closed-minded chicken shit conformist. It should be about hanging out in the bathroom at the gas station and sucking dick through the glory hole. Now, also, there is this website for gay people who are a bunch of stuck-up PC fucks who claim that the only gay people who do poppers anymore are old trolls, and that the young gay men just don't sniff poppers when they fuck anymore. Oh, really? Poppers are one of the biggest, if not one of the biggest industries in the gay community, if it ain't the biggest industry, which is a fact, and facts don't care about your feelings. Then Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband sucked a guy's dick in the bathroom at the gas station, and it turned out to be an undercover police officer who slapped the handcuffs on him, but he was willing to let him off the hook, but only if he agreed to get vaccinated from COVID-69. There were warnings that if you are gay, and as soon as you get vaccinated from COVID-69, you have to give up sniffing poppers when you fuck, or all kinds of horrible side effects will cause all kinds of weird shit to happen. And there was a gay man who refused to stop sniffing poppers after he got vaccinated, and he decided to take a piss on Anita Bryant's grave, which caused her to come back from the dead as a lesbian zombie. I mean vampire, or maybe both. While Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband was shitting out diarrhea and blood, which was caused by the COVID-69 vaccine, she pulled out her gun and she shot him, causing more blood and dust to splatter all over the place. And she said, "I love my guns. I love shooting pictures of socialism, Antifa, and my gay queer husband who shat diarrhea and blood all over my face." But the good news is this caused her to turn into a lesbian vampire. And the good news is this led to David Carradine to invade Earth with his spaceships. And let's not forget that David Carradine became the new Messiah who got the stroke while he was jerking off while yours truly was being diagnosed with Asperger's. And this planet has been a dystopian of total fucking shit since the year 2020, and it got so bad and by 2072 the people just couldn't take it anymore. So David Carradine will let people fly on his spaceships to a much nicer world, his kingdom, but you have to obey one of the most important 13 commandments, and that is thou shalt not be an asshole, or you will not be allowed to enter David Carradine's kingdom.
Let's keep it going.